Welcome. I have gone live on Telegram like I'm supposed to. And now I need to go live on the Telegram. I have gone live on Telegram. I don't know. This is really hard to do stuff. I can't find the other place I was supposed to go live. That's fine. How do I leave? Yeah, I leave. And it's still going live. Oh my gosh, 9 followers and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it says live stream started, so I did my thing. Okay, welcome to episode 65 of Let's Talk Immigration. I don't have a big agenda today, so if you come at me with your questions, I would love to engage with you. Or if you want to be a guest on the screen to ask your question, that's fine too. I'm going to share the invite code right here. TDDD. So if you ask your question on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, it shows up here where I can see it right away. If you ask anywhere else, hopefully my team will find it and put it there where I can see it. Okay. I don't have any questions yet. What's going on in the U.S.? Republicans and Democrats and Biden proposed an immigration bill that would change the way asylum works to the U.S. in exchange for Israel and Ukraine getting a lot of funding. And it looks like that bill is not going to go anywhere because the Republicans and also the Democrats, like nobody really likes the bill. So it's unfortunate. We almost had some sort of immigration reform that might have made things better, might not have. I don't know. But it turns out we're not going to have anything like that. Also, House Republicans tried to impeach he's usually our defendant, Secretary of Homeland Security Mayorkas. They were unsuccessful. Their reasons weren't very good. I mean, you got to have a high crime or to impeach somebody, and he's not really committed a crime. He's not. I disagree with him on a lot of things, but I don't see the crime there. So Republicans kind of messed that up. So that's what's going on in the political world, right? What's going on with Morrison Urena? We are still waiting for the outcome of the Goodluck and Gomez and Ray appeal for DV 2020 and 2021. We do not have an update on that. Okay. We were taking care of our existing clients. Let me see if there's anything else I can talk about. I want to remind all the green card holders that are watching, everybody that's watching this video, if you move, you have to let USCIS know you move. You have an obligation to do that. Unless you're a U.S. citizen, USCIS needs to know where you're living if you're in the U.S., okay? Or even if you're out, they need to know your address. That's very important because if they send you a notice and you say, you can't say, oh, I changed my address and didn't tell you. That doesn't work. Come on, this is a Q&A. You all need to ask questions and stuff. Oh, I've got somebody who, SIV, who wants to join. Let me see if I can add them. Nope, they disappeared. They changed their mind. Almost had someone, they were in the waiting room. Oh, they're back. SIV, I'm going to add you to stage.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I am fine. I am from Iraq.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And we have applied for special immigrant visa for Iraq translator who worked with the U.S. Army.
Right. Okay.
and after we got conditional approval from USCIS, our case transferred to National Visa Center,
Okay.
and we submit a DS to 260,
Okay.
and we sent all required documents, and we got our interview in Baghdad embassy.
Oh, you got an interview. When was your interview?
What? I can't hear you.
No, I mean about approximately when was your interview?
We get our interview in embassy of Baghdad, and we get conditional administrative process.
When was the interview? What date? Like last year, 2022? When did you go to interview?
Oh, okay. On 12 December 2023.
So almost 2 months ago. Like more
What?
than a month ago, right?
I couldn't hear you.
Like 6 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, you were fortunate to get that interview because U.S. Embassy Baghdad, like the State Department says it's open, but you don't see that they interview a lot of people and you don't see that they issue a lot of visas. So you are a lucky person to get that interview. That's great. After the interview, did they give you a DS 5535 form?
Yes.
Okay. And did you complete it and return those responses?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So this is where things get a little not good. That form takes a long time to process. We know that 10% of the cases take more than 2 years. Most of the cases take, I think it's 70% are done in 120 days, 4 months. You're almost halfway there. But since it involves national security, the State Department will not give any better guidance than that. We found that out not because they wanted us to, but they disclosed it in litigation in declarations. There are 66,000 people in that same situation that you are in, where they attended interviews and they are waiting for the final clearance on their from their DS 5535 responses. So it's a difficult situation. You are not alone. At some point, you might consider a lawsuit, but within 6 weeks is too early. The delay has not been unreasonable at this point. You would have a difficult
Sorry for
time.
bothering you. If it SIV, special immigrant visa, that make it different or not?
Well, I don't think so. At this point, I think that what's holding you up is not the visa nothing to do with your eligibility for the visa category. It's about the national security vetting, which is the same for everybody. So I don't think that the SIV part plays a role at this point. And I have not done a mandamus lawsuit for an unreasonable delay for an SIV. And if you're still in AP several months from now, I want you to come back and maybe that's what we will look at. But right now, the thing to do is just be patient. Okay. I know it's difficult because you've been patient. You probably started this process several years ago, right?
Yes, I start processing and sent my petition to USCIS on 2000.
I'm sorry, it just said 2000.
2021.
21. Okay. So
I
yeah, a
start
few
my
years.
I send my petition.
Right. So In my view, the
Uh,
U.S. government should treat you better, and you should not have been delayed this long, and you should not face other delays. But I am not in control. I do not work for the U.S. government. Okay. So
I
at
can
this point,
understand
all
that.
you can do is be patient. Okay.
Okay. Some
Thanks
things
for the.
other.
I've got
We
other people.
our travel history. We have never out from Iraq. We
Okay,
all our
let's
life in Iraq.
cut you off right there. Okay. Listen, we don't know what causes them, what triggers the DS 5535 vetting. We don't know what causes it, and we also don't know what they look at specifically afterward. What I don't want you doing is like going out in the public and talking about your visa application, like the details. Let's not do that. What we just understand that there's a lot of unknowns here, and talking about them doesn't change that. Okay.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I've got
Yes.
lots
Yes.
of questions. So be safe. I know where you are is not the safest place in the world, but try your best. Okay.
Yes. It's very not safe. Our life is very hard. We can't do any activities. We okay from work or school to home, just like this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you'll be in my thoughts. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see if we have any other questions. Anybody else want to join? That's interesting to be able to do that. Prashant says, "What about Good Luck case? You missed it a few seconds ago. I said we do not have an update on the appeal of Good Luck Gomez Ray. We do not have an update on the appeals. We're still waiting on the outcome." Okay. Faisal says, "What to do if there's no order this year?" Well, what we would do is we would wait to see if there was an order next year. That's what we would do. But I'm hopeful that that's not going to happen, what you're saying. There is news on DV 2021. There's not a question mark there. I assume that you mean that there's a question. Most DV 2021 selectees, the journeys were over on October 1st, 2021. The only journeys that continue are Good Luck plaintiffs, Go plaintiffs, and people eligible under the Ray order. So if you're not in one of those categories, your journey is not continuing. Okay. It's always confusing to me when people come to me and they are plaintiffs in a lawsuit and they ask about the category generally when their situation is actually a little different, right? So if you're a plaintiff in a specific lawsuit and that impacts the answer to your question, be sure to note that. Lamine says, "I think the court doesn't like DV cases like Gomez, otherwise will not take that long." I'm just saying. Lamine, I disagree. The government hasn't got an answer in this case either. Okay. So the fact that there hasn't been an answer is not good for the government and it's not good for you. It's not like they're favoring the government over you. Like the government's not happy about not getting an answer either. So also what you're saying here assumes that there aren't other cases before the appeals before the Circuit Court of Appeals when there are hundreds of other cases. And appeals just take a long time. Here's something we need to stop doing. We do not blame the court for their docket. It's not their fault that they're open for business, okay? Or that they take a long time because they have a lot of cases. That's not their fault. If you want to blame somebody for the delay to the DVs, that is the Joseph R. Biden administration, okay? It's the Biden administration that appealed our victories in Gomez and Good Luck and Ray. It's the Biden administration. So that is who is preventing diversity visa selectees, primarily from Africa, from entering the United States. It's not the courts. I'm not angry at you. I just get excited when I talk about this. Okay. Just in case says, "Hi, Morrison. What about the bill allowing deportation of green card holders caught DUI?" I didn't follow that closely, but I will tell you that green card holders have always had their green cards in jeopardy if they commit crimes. So it's a good idea when you're a green card holder to be extra vigilant to follow the laws, because you do not have the privilege of a U.S. citizen. Things could go badly for you. Okay. So, but as far as like the new legislation that is before Congress, that big bill, that's not going to pass. Like, Democrats don't want it, Republicans don't want it. The only people that want that bill are lobbyists for Ukraine and Israel because they want the money. I'm not saying that they don't have their reasons or anything like that. I'm just saying that's who really, really wants this bill to pass, more than anybody. And it's not going to pass. Okay. I've got a question here from someone in the Russian audience, I think. What about DV 2020? Why is it so long? Okay. DV 2020, Gomez class members. It's so long because appeals take a long time. Okay. If you haven't heard me say that before, appeals take a long time. That's reality. That's always been like that. That's why it's so long. Okay. MT says, just curious, wouldn't talking about it publicly invite more attention to this? Talking about what publicly? Did you ask another question, MT? MT, I don't know the context. Talking about what publicly? Follow up with that question and tell me what you think I should talk about more publicly. Okay. Faisal says, Trump wants to deport everybody that are not Americans who support Palestine. Did you hear that, sir? Will he be able to do that, sir? Trump wants to do lots of insane things. Fortunately, he's incompetent and not able to do a lot of the things, because you have to be competent to be a good fascist dictator to get things done. You have to be able to be a leader, and you have to be able to read stuff that he really can't get his head around. Okay, so I mean, will things be bad if Trump's reelected? Yes. Will they be that bad? I doubt it. I mean, we had 4 years of him, and he wasn't able to do that in 4 years. So I don't know why he would be able to do it this time. Most of the people that were surrounding him that time are already in jail or shamed from public life. So I don't even know who's going to work for him if he wins again. And he probably will win again. I don't know. Okay. Y'all asked me about politics, and politically, I'm probably further left than most of the people in the United States. So I don't really know if I'm a good person to provide you news and information when it comes to politics, because when I do, it comes from my point of view, which is extremely liberal. Okay. Dr. Ali Manzour says, I had my interview IR1 Montreal, September 27, 2023, and have been placed in AP DS 5535. Okay, well, that's, I know that feels like a long time, October, November, December, January, 4 or 5 months. But from what we know from the Carson Wu Declaration, there's 66,000 people in AP, and more than 10% are taking 2 years or more. Okay, 10% of 66,000, 6,600. So there's like over 6,000 people that have already waited more than 2 years. So what I would say is you can continue being patient, because it's going to take some time. At some point, you might want to consider a mandamus lawsuit, which are not guaranteed to give you an outcome, but at least you're fighting for the outcome that you want. Okay. He says, they also asked for my CV. That's common. Okay. When do you think I will be cleared? As I remember, Department of State requested budget from OMB. I don't know what you're talking about for the budget for the OMB. I don't know what you're talking about exactly there. I don't know when it will be cleared. Sometime, hopefully within the next 2 years, but maybe not. That's why I recommend litigation. Do you think AP has something to do with the budget and understaffing? Interesting theory. No. The State Department likes to say, oh, we don't have resources to schedule people, even though they've already taken that money, 350,000 people waiting for interviews that have already paid their application fee. Where's that money? How is it they don't have money to conduct interviews when they've already accepted the money for conducting the interviews? Where's that money? I don't know. But you're talking about something separate. We're talking about people in AP right now. We know that there's 37 people that are analysts that are responsible for clearing those 66,000 people in AP. So, I mean, you just have to either be patient or you have to file a lawsuit and fight. Those are really your two options. But I don't think administrative processing has anything to do with budget and understaffing. Actually, I think that's kind of naive. Administrative processing, the decision by Secretary Blinken to only have 37 people as analysts working under Carson Wu to clear people in AP, that's a decision. Okay, he made that decision. He did not make that decision because, I don't have any money. It's the State Department. He's got as much money as he wants. Congress prints it for him. No. Secretary Blinken, for whatever reason, has wanted to throttle immigration to the United States. And he can say he's doing it for national security reasons, but it's peculiar how a lot of the people in AP are from the same place, right? Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit here. I hope I get a specific question and I don't ramble. Hi, I'm G. Was Abercrombie, might mean good luck. Was Abercrombie ever determined? How long did it take? The Abercrombie case that Soleil is referring to is a 2017 lawsuit, and Mr. Abercrombie has not been issued a diversity visa 2017 visa yet. His lawsuit is before Judge Chutkan, and there is a stay in his lawsuit. It's on hold until the outcome of the Good Luck Gomez Go appeal. Okay. It's sort of ironic because the Abercrombie had went to the appeals court originally back in 2017 and 2018, and he had won before the appeals court. And that's what paved the way for us to file the original Muhammad Fong John Kennedy cases that were consolidated with Gomez in 2020 and actually paved the way for the DV litigation. So it's ironic that now the Abercrombie case is not in front of the Good Luck and Gomez cases, but there's reasons for that. The DV 2020 cases that we did, we're getting paid for those, okay, for most of them. And Good Luck, same thing, okay? So you have a lot of attorneys being paid doing work. Abercrombie, his counsel was pro bono. They were working for free because it was the right thing to do, which is great, but you can't expect them to drop everything to do the most aggressive motion practice in history either. So I have a lot of respect for the counsel on Abercrombie. I think they've done a great job, but it's like a team of 2 attorneys or something. It's not the team that we put fighting Gomez, Good Luck, Ray. I mean, there's like 50 attorneys involved in litigating the DV 20 and 2021 cases. Very different than what happened in 2017. As I understand it, I actually wasn't involved in Abercrombie, okay? I'm just watching it from the outside. There could be a lot more attorneys involved in that I don't know. I've just talked to a couple of, maybe there's a lot more people involved in that. I don't think so, though. Okay. Muhammad says, hi, what about DV 2021 Good Luck? You must have just joined us. Rewind. I've already said I don't have an update on that. Okay, Joseph. If the law says no way forward, then let it pass the new law, and people will get away better than applying appeal. And then, therefore, Mr. Biden is taking the law to look weak in the U.S. than it's been before. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I think I might know, but I don't want to guess. I'm not sure what you mean. If you ask a question, make it in a, I guess that is in a question form. It's a little complex. If somebody else understands what he's saying and can help explain the question, I will answer it. I will try. MT says, talking about the AP process more publicly would invite attention to it, right? Legal immigrants are waiting years for AP to resolve. Even some have to sue the government to do its job. I agree with you. At the same time, you have to realize that there's a lot of audience that doesn't want to hear what we could talk about it, but they don't want to listen. Okay. You're not going to have Fox News do a story reporting how Biden is being tough on immigrants. Nope, that's not going to happen because they like to pretend like he's letting them all in and giving them cell phones and Stanley cups or something. I mean, they're crazy. At the same time, you don't have progressive Democrat leaning outlets being critical of the Biden administration because they realize that he's kind of on a track to lose the election as it is. They don't want to make it worse. So it's a difficult story to tell because you have to find someone with an appetite to listen to that story that wants to hear it, right? Okay. Dr. Ali Manzoor says, do you think AP DS 5535 has anything to do with budget and understaffing? Oh, where you got that question. DV 2021 should take the U.S. support down. Rather, we love America through. It's not loving back. Not my words, but depending on the current situation. I agree with you, and I have emailed the government attorneys this exact sentiment. Basically, I believe that we are harming, there's diplomatic harm that we are doing to the United States of America by leaving thousands and thousands of visa applicants in limbo while we await the outcome of this appeal. The reputational harm to the United States, it keeps me up at night. Okay, I really worry about that. It would be great if we were doing the opposite and immigrants could see like how the court system works and how Biden wasn't fighting immigrants. That would be great, but that's not the situation we have. But I agree with your sentiment. Okay, Joseph's elaborating on his question before, so let's see if we can figure it out. The privileges also be provided directly, otherwise let him provide for the DV lost visas as long as they have not yet get justice. My suggestion is for him to provide them all necessary needs for time. Let him provide for. I think you're proposing that like the Biden administration do something to help. We wouldn't have sued them if they were helping. Okay. Your proposal that the Biden administration act more rationally and reasonable and responsibly, I guess, to DVs. I agree with you. But I don't think we're going to see that. Okay. MT says, if the embassy asks for a second medical report after being in AP for a long time, first medical expired, is there another potential reason for further delay? My case is in AP, but also filed at I-85. Yeah, there's a potential reason. Well, there's always potential. Until the visa is issued and you enter the U.S. in it, you're not a lawful permanent resident. I don't like people celebrating because the C Act changed or whatever. Until you get the visa and you travel on it and you enter the U.S., you're not a lawful permanent resident. It's just a sticker. So always a risk. In this case, for example, the new medical exam could have a false positive TB test that could require sputum tests that have to be sent to somewhere in Europe, I think Spain, I forget, and had 5 or more weeks to your journey, and then something bad could happen in that period. Like, it's never a done deal until you enter the U.S. and you're a green card holder. Okay, Mohammed says the screenshot you posted has the U.S. attorney's phone number in it. Oops, I'm sorry. I meant to redact that. Don't call the U.S. attorney and say, ha, 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 ha. And he's assistant U.S. attorney. But that's funny. Okay. I'm not obligated by law to protect the phone numbers of government attorneys from the public, okay? You can basically get a court filing, and that's where their phone numbers are. You work for the government. You can't hide from people. But if you're not a party to a case, there's no reason for you to call a government attorney about a case. Actually, if you are a party to a case and you have an attorney, you shouldn't be calling a government attorney. Your attorney represents you in the transaction. So just because I posted his phone number, nobody should be calling him. Okay, nobody call Mr. Lippman. Okay. If my AP resolves, I'm wondering if it is worth the risk to return to the embassy to complete consular processing rather than wait for my I-485. I have an EAD and advanced parole approved. I think you should seek a very detailed consult with an immigration attorney, because if you do not have a green card, there's always risk when you leave the U.S. So I think that would be a good idea. Okay. Just says, we all know the DV is winning, however much it's the way it continually work for the state government. God bless America. Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Lamine says, to create a precedent that will impact the future cases like Gomez, which means more responsibility for the judges. That's why I said the court doesn't like this kind of cases. Well, let's back up. The Gomez did not happen. Good luck did not happen because of the court precedent so much. I mean, I said that a second ago, but the true reason those cases happened is because the State Department made a misinterpretation of the law. These are not my words. These are Judge Mehta's words, okay? The State Department misinterpreted the law. And under that misinterpretation of the law, they did a policy where they said that 212F authority to exclude entry of non-citizens could be used as authority not to issue them visas. Okay. Whenever there's a legal issue and the executive branch makes a misinterpretation of law in that issue, the courts, that's what they're there for, is to fix that. Okay. Everybody said ever since this case from 1789 or something called Marbury versus Madison, this is the Supreme Court determines what the law is when there are different interpretations of the law. Congress makes the law. If there's different interpretations, the courts are there to decide what the correct interpretation is. So I don't think that the court wants cases to go away because that's what they're there for. But there's an element of what you say that's true, too. They don't want to be buried in the same, litigation where the hardship is extremely like difficult, like to see people, immigrant families suffering so much, they don't like to see that. The solution is not for us not to bring the lawsuits. The solution is for the State Department to treat people with the respect that they deserve. Okay? Let's not put this on the courts. It's Secretary Blinken. It's the Biden administration. That's who's causing the problem. The SKR says hi. Hi. This is a great show today, right? Lots of engagement. Abdikari says, hi, thanks for your help. I'm good luck plaintiff. I suppose the decision is near. You can suppose that all you want, but the reality is we do not know that, okay? We do not know when the outcome of the appeal will happen. I think I've said that before. Joseph says, and how can an old DV winner still get another entry? For example, reapply DV 2025. I think we can get a chance to enter the USA and another journey would be better, but however, lost documents by the USA. I often see people win the DV lottery more than once. Statistically, it does not supposed to happen, but it does. I had several clients in DV 2020 that won in 2021, 2022, and 2023. And I had several clients from 2021 that won in 2022 and 2023 and 2024. So it does happen. Okay. As far as lost documents by the USA, sounds like a very specific situation. And I can't, it's difficult to frame an answer to that question in the big one. Okay. Do you think AP is being delayed because illegal immigrants are prioritized in the AP process? I think that's stupid. No. SAO requests do not even include undocumented folks. SAO requests come from the State Department. The State Department does not have any engagement with undocumented folks. So I probably shouldn't have been so like rude there. I shouldn't say it's stupid. My answer is no, they are not prioritized because they're not even part of it. There's no administrative processing DS-55, 35 for people that are seeking asylum at the border. That's not a thing. Hassan says, thank you for your service. Thank you, Hassan. Blade says, hi. Joseph, this is your last question. You're asking too many questions. After a long hustle for our DV entry, we will still get all the promised facilities like house, car, and job. Maybe they're just not ready to provide that much. Joseph, I don't know what you're talking about. You're not promised a house, car, or job when you enter the United States. Okay. If you work a little bit, it's easy to get part of that. It's easy to get the job. Not too difficult to get to the car. You'll have to save a little bit. The house, housing in the U.S. is very expensive, especially on the coastal regions. You know, if you're okay living in Kansas or Texas or Arkansas, it'd be more affordable, but then you have some other issues that you have to deal with. So I hope that you're not serious. I hope that this is a joke. You are not promised a car and a house and a job just because you won the DV lottery. Okay. I can't tell if you're joking. I hope that you're joking. Okay. Lamine says, just thinking why the court takes so long to come with an outcome. That's why I said that. Right. Well, it's because they have a lot of appeals. And this is a complicated one. It's not a simple one. Okay. Daniel says, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Consular processing is a disaster. I do not disagree. Okay. Hassan says, do you think immigration delays from U.S. Embassy will get better this year? I do not, because Secretary Blinken has been the Secretary of State of the United States for 3 years and not publicly acknowledged once that the Bureau of Consular Affairs is even under his jurisdiction. He pretends and lives in this bubble as if he has nothing to do with legal immigration to the U.S. when he is one of the key players, as we see from the cables that we get in our litigation. He spends so much time on his plane, flying back and forth from here to there, pretending to fix things that he can't fix, and very little time focused on his job and making sure that the State Department has the resources to do its mission. Not a fan, actually. It would be great, though, if he heard this video and for some reason decided to devote resources to actually making America richer and stronger and more diverse by letting people immigrate to the U.S. That would be great. I would be all excited about that. And I would take it back and I'd apologize to him. Okay. MT says, for the encounters with illegal immigrants, I was under the impression that they are still cross-checked on the terrorist watch list. Is that different from AP? Yes, it is. I recommend that you read the Carson Wu declarations if you want a better understanding of just how thorough the national security vetting is for immigrants to the U.S. Someone has made a ridiculous calculation bureaucratically since 2001. I think it's evolved, that says, oh my gosh, we have to do as much vetting as possible for immigrants. And if you think about it, it's really dumb, because if you're a terrorist, you're not going to go through a 5-year process to immigrate to the U.S. You're going to go through the fastest process. Okay. You are getting me excited today. Okay. Joseph, this is your last question. I wish if someone wins the second time to be treated special. Don't stop fighting for us. I wish that would happen too. If you were a DV selectee and it didn't work out the first time, the second time they should treat you better. They don't. Okay, they don't. Just know that that's not going to happen. However, you have the wisdom of your first experience to guide you, which most DV selectees don't. Most DV selectees, the first time they won, they make the same errors over and over and over because they've never won before. They've never been through this experience. So fortunately, if you go through a second time, the second time you don't make mistakes. Ari says, living legally for 14 years, but stuck in employment visa backlog owing to country cap. Any hopes? Hi, Ari. I do not see a political route to relief for that situation in the near future. Okay. And the majority of America is just not as important an issue, and it should be. If you know somebody, by the way, in that situation that has kids and they're worried about their kids' status once they come of age over 21, I have a journalist looking to talk to people in that situation. I can't find anybody that wants to talk. So here, this is weird. Usually I don't have this situation where I have a journalist wanting to tell a story. Here I have a journalist wanting to tell a story, and the immigrant families who are impacted are not talking to me for me to connect them. So I don't know. If you know anybody with kids that are worried about their kids, want to talk to a journalist, connect them with me. Okay. Hassan says, thank you, Curtis. You're awesome. Hassan, you're awesome. Also, you're better dressed than me. Okay. Vilad says, hi, Curtis Morrison. I'm a winner of DV 2020. This year, I renewed my passport, and I don't know if I should ask to modify the DS-260 now, or I'll wait until they decide to issue the remaining 9,095 visas. You wait. Right now, all the DV 2020 and 2021, these applications are frozen. Nobody can make a change to them. Okay. It's good that you renewed your passport. That's good. Anybody, if you can renew your passport, always renew your passport, because you never know when that office is going to close or burn down or your country is going to close. So it's good that you renewed your passport. But hang on to it. Nothing the embassy can do about that right now, or KCC. Zagalou says, any news about DV 2021? You must just be joining us. Ahmed says, I applied for C1D visa about 14 months ago and it's still under administrative processing. Any advice? C1D. I'm just going to go ahead and share my ignorance. I don't know what a C1D is. IR1, CR1, the C1D. I don't know what a C1D is. I'm sorry. JD said, thanks. JD also says, there's a few files to handle. What's taking this long? DV lost visas. JD, if you're talking about appeals in the circuit court for the District Court of Columbia, there are many files to handle, not a few. Okay. And I'm actually not in the best position to gauge which one they should do first, and neither are you. The court, the judges, they're in the best position to handle their own dockets, to manage their own dockets. And that's a lot of questions. Thank you so much for all these great questions. I'll see you next week for episode 66 of Let's Talk Immigration. If you're in one of those places facing a lot of danger in the Middle East, just stay safe. You're in my thoughts.